Can you see my ArcGIS window?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see it.
So ArcGIS has some pretty nice case tools built into it. One of them is called Model Builder. And essentially, it's a way that you can drag in data and certain functions and perform operations at output fairly rapidly. And it lets you also pass in variables for parameters and so forth. So why don't we go ahead and pull in some data that we've used before. So this should look pretty familiar with one of the labs. And we went ahead and added in that data. And notice the toolbar functions we have now: search, toolbox, Python, which is the ID, which is also known as the integrated development environment. Now, ArcGIS, ArcPro, the 64-bit version of ArcMap, which is the 32-bit desktop version, has a much more sophisticated Python IDE, and you can do a lot of things with it. For today, we're just going to talk about 32-bit version because that's the piece that will really help with your projects. And then we will, if we have time in class, pull up the 64-bit version and publish to ArcGIS server and do a bunch of cool stuff. So that's how you get to the Python window. This is where you get to Model Builder. Okay, so this is essentially a case tool where you can do all kinds of things to it. So just the use of this can be a little bit daunting. So it looks like you have to go in and add all these tools and data sets and stuff. But if you have it in your original project, like I just dragged this in from, and I can even do similar stuff like that by opening up the toolbox, which is going to take a minute here. And I can even drag in the tools, which makes it very rapidly to put together a model and an output. So can you guys see the model builder in the toolbox?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So not only can you use the model builder, your table of contents in the toolbox, but you can also use the search window here. To find a tool, you can go and select the tool and you can drag it right in to the model builder. Okay, so how much time did I just save from having to find the tool, find a layer? Okay, so you already have your layer because you're working on it for ArcMap. So we just saved a ton of time. So we can do a selection. We do a make feature layer. So here's the tool right here that we played around with in some of our labs. And we can essentially say, we got a layer, we want to do a buffer. So we're going to try to input the data, input the features in the make feature layer. And then we're going to output a layer. And then we're going to do a buffer on it. So remember when we talked about in our previous slides that we could essentially do different functions and different steps? Oh, it just died on me. Are you guys still with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Looks like we got to do a do-over because it just crashed on me. Okay, so is ArcMap sharing again? Because it just kicked me out of the sharing.
Yeah.
I can't spell today, class. Okay, so we're going to search buffer in the tool outlet, and then we're going to do make selection layer. We're going to search on that. Make feature layer, drag that in. I'm going to input the roads features in the make feature layer. This is right where I crashed last time. Okay. So now we have roads where we can apply a buffer to it. If I click on these, it's going to ask me, what do I want my buffer to be? Say 50 feet. Let's say 200 feet. Hit apply. Okay. Okay, so I clicked on that and it let me change the settings for that. Let's see what this lets me change. Oh, I can put in an expression here. So I can say for street name, get all the unique values. So say I-25. Equals I-25. Apply. Okay, so I have a legitimate expression right here. It says name equals I-25. So what will that do? So I have the input Denver roads, get searched by I-25. I'll put it to layer, and it's got buffer it by 250 feet. So notice how quickly I put that together. So I'm going to run entire model. It told me it ran successfully. And so the data set is right here, Denver roads buffer. I have to go find that. There is an option in here to add to display right there. So it just went ahead and added it for me. So there it is. So right along I-25, I selected that road and ran a buffer right along it that quickly. Okay, so what can you do with this? You can do file, save as. Or there's a way you can actually save the Python script, so export to Python script. This is a great skill to have too. I'm literally talking to several people, like former students and stuff, who write a lot of code in this and get paid well to do it. Okay, so any questions on that, how we did that? So let me stop sharing that and then I will pull up the code. So you don't have to do that on a buffer. You can do that on any of your functions. Do a select and then essentially have the script generated for you, or actually just run it, have it go right in your map for you, which saves a tremendous amount of time. Okay, so let me reshare this. I just opened up the code in idle. So not only did that generate the code for me, can you see my idle window? It's a text window with some colored text.
Yeah.
Okay, so this did a bunch of things for me. It set the layer, made it to a Python layer class, which means I can do all kinds of stuff to it. And then it set the buffer layer, the output, and then it called the exact command, generated it for me, and put the query in. And then it actually did the spatial analysis function. So several of you, if you're doing buffer, you could actually take this video, run through what your project is, and build a buffer on it and have layer added right to the map. Be pretty quick. You can also do this with overlay, identity, any of those things. So if you can build the model and get the parameters set, you will have valid output and it will run for you. So that's the beauty of a case tool. So what does this do? Automates some of your steps you may need to do for your final project, introduces you to Python, and helps navigate what your spatial analysis functions need to be. Okay, so this is what the final one is. ArcPy is the package that you import right at the top here to use Python with ArcGIS. Now, if you go into ArcPro, it'll have the same package, but it'll be a 64-bit Python package built in. Now, any of these Python scripts, and I'll try to go into this next week if we have time, can be published on the web. And I've got some really good samples to show and run them through the web and so forth if you guys are interested. Any questions on that?